Good morning, CLC family. I hope we find you having a wonderful, beautiful week and weekend, and I hope you have a glorious week to come. Okay. Now we come to giving time. We will include a link in the comment section in just a little bit for you to be able to donate to the center. I would like to personally thank you in advance for all of your support during this time. We know that, some people are having some challenges going on. And with that, we are very lucky and fortunate for all the people who are able to still give to us and help us to be here and to support you with not only these classes, but in all the other ways that we're here to support you. So thank you for that. And I welcome you to join me in saying, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. I am prosperous now, and so it is. Now I invite you to relax into this moment. Take a few deep breaths. Relax your body. Relax your mind. Allow all stress and worries to just drift aside for now. They'll be there. Just let them go for the moment. As you breathe in the cool, crisp air, breathe out all that no longer serves you, and allow yourself to be here now. Universal love enfolds me. Universal wisdom inspires me. Universal spirit enlightens me. Universal power encircles me. I am one and all is well. As we begin this inner healing process, I invite you now to relax in quiet confidence, opening yourself to the miracle-working higher power. Now symbolize the unity of your thinking and feeling nature by touching your chest with your right hand, and let my words act as your own for your own inner healing, acceptance, and receptivity. I acknowledge that there is a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own. I am in the midst of it, and it is in the midst of me, sensitive and responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling. I now make this true for myself by saying aloud, I acknowledge. Acknowledging the higher power working through my life, I admit that I am personally responsible for solving my own problems, while being guided and assisted by something greater than myself. As I am ready to surrender the conflicts of my own ego to the wisdom of the infinite presence, I simply speak these words: I surrender. Knowing that forgiveness is the key to unconditional love and the feeling of heaven, I now unconditionally forgive anyone and everyone who has ever injured me in any way, real or imagined. And I now forgive myself for all my mistaken judgments and their resulting actions. From my deepest level of understanding, I now say, I forgive. Realizing that I continually experience the effects of my own thinking, I now choose to allow this higher power to recreate me deeply, filling my mind with thoughts that are only constructive, positive, loving, and beautiful. I call upon this divine inflow by stating aloud, I choose. I now center upon that one special idea that I'm willing to accept as real for me in this coming week. Visualizing the idea as already acted upon and brought to pass. In seeing my idea become a fact of my experience, I enjoy the happiness and peace of my thought fulfilled and gratefully speak these words, I accept. Knowing that I have an everlasting place in the midst of the power that sustains all creation, as well as the support of all those around me, I allow myself to relax in the peace of fulfillment and gratitude and say, I release. Now, in my mind's eye, I envision the presence of someone near and dear to me. This could be a friend, a family member, a teacher or mentor, someone who has touched my life in deep and loving ways. Someone who may not be physically present in the room with me this morning. I turn toward that image in my mind's eye and say, I am grateful for the good in your life. Now, I open my eyes and turn joyfully to the world around me and speak to the person who may either be next to me in the room or virtually on this program.
Well, I welcome you here on this Sunday. This is what I usually say to a room full of people, and you are not that. But at home you are. So you're having a virtual experience, we're having an actual experience, and the two are meeting over the, what we used to call airwaves. And our friendly and knowledgeable staff here at Creative Life making this happen on camera and on comments. Reverend Lisa Ryan, Danielle Mercadel. Here we go. Week 2 of spiritual strategies. Some thoughts on spiritual strategies. Last week I brought up luck and got some interesting reactions from people who were astonished to hear luck being brought up as a factor in spiritual work or in what you manifest in your life, but it is a factor. The thing is that you create margins within which luck can occur. You soften yourself up to it. In the way that you soften up the subconscious mind to receive the impress of thought and act upon it. A lot of times people try to jump right into working with the subconscious. They start giving it orders. And you're entitled to do that, but the subconscious won't necessarily recognize your voice if you haven't had some dialogue with it first, along the lines of meditation and introspection and inner work and checking your feelings and so on. So you develop a relationship with the subconscious mind, and then you give it instructions, and it's a willing partner. You've learned how to work the system. We have technology in this room that we've had to learn how to work. I've got some technology I've got to learn in the next couple of weeks for something I've got to do. If I just went to the thing cold, I'd make all kinds of mistakes. I'd cost myself all kinds of time. But when you practice, when it's not important, and every spiritual teaching says this in one way or another, when you practice, when you do the work, when it's not critical, you're ready for when it is. If you pray before you need to be rescued from life, should the occasion ever arise when you do need to be rescued from life, well, you're ready and you're engaging in a familiar practice. And the subconscious aspect of you that receives the direction from the conscious, well, it's used to hearing from you now, and you believe it, and you set it in motion, and it begins to happen. A few weeks ago, maybe, I don't know, time runs together, could have been months ago, I brought up how the only thing you ever have to convince in life is your own subjective nature, your own subconscious mind. And I used Lisa and Danielle as examples here, and I said, you know, if Danielle thinks better of herself today than she did, then the universe thinks better of her. And if she thinks better of Lisa, and Lisa agrees, then the universe thinks better of Lisa. It had no judgment on these two to start with or anybody else, but it's still ramped up a little when you develop, and I develop, this thing called self-esteem or self-worth, true self-worth, not comparative self-worth. But you know who you are and you value yourself as the experience that Spirit is having in the world at this time by means of you. When you get that and I get that, then the universe has gotten it on our behalf. The only place we have to go to convince anything to change is within the soul. We do our own work. And today I want to talk a little bit about denial. Denial, knowing where to start and where not to end is nominally the title of today's talk. And what that means is to know to pray first, whatever the situation, but don't stop there. Don't ever stop there. Don't stop anywhere. Let the prayer turn into action. Let the action turn into collaboration. Let the collaboration turn into world building. Heaven on earth building. Never let up, but start with prayer. If we start with other things, we get sidetracked. We never really get back to prayer. But I'll tell you this, there was, in teaching Science of Mind, as I've been doing for some time, we have a 5-step process of prayer that we use. But when they came out with new curriculum at some point in the past, out of our headquarters, they added a step at the start, and it was called purpose. Before you get right into the thing, the spiritual mind treatment, the treating of yourself, you have to have a purpose statement. So what is your purpose? What do you want to create going forward? So that really is where we begin. And it is part of the spiritual work, is you take your own temperature. You look at your life, or you look at the world's life, and you say how it is. And how it is right now is brutal. It's brutal. And that is not an unmetaphysical thing to say. It would be an unmetaphysical place to stay. It's just, it's brutal. There it is. Nothing can be done. Whose fault is it? How have we offended God or each other and each other to have the world be the way that it is right now? It'd be a miserable place to stay. But first we take the temperature of our life and the world's life. And we don't deny that things are as bad as they appear. We deny that they need to be. That's the difference. We deny that they need to be, ought to be, were created to be, and are perpetually being. And I call this, I may copyright this. We're talking, anyway. Plausible positivity. Plausible, I like that. Plausible positivity. Plausible positivity is not toxic positivity. It's not nonsense positivity. You know, it's plausible because I believe it. I'm only really positive in my life if I believe what I'm saying, right? A goal is only achievable to me if I believe that it is. If I set a goal and I say, whoa, nobody could ever do that, I have no subconscious buy-in at all. I have no agency. I have no traction in getting to that goal. If I set a goal and I say, wow, that's going to take a lot of work, that's not the same thing. I am accepting it on some level. I'm even saying I'm willing to do the work. I'm excited about doing the work. I may even be saying I'm so excited to do the work, it's not going to look like work. Have you done things, I know you have, that were difficult to onlookers, but to you, it was fun. It was fun. I watch musicians and artists and creative people do things, and I marvel at how this could be so, and to them, they can't not do it, you know? So what is the true degree of difficulty? Well, it's all subjective to the beholding consciousness. And if it's my life, then it's my beholding consciousness. So I want plausible positivity in my life, where I agree that such a thing is possible, and then I get busy with it. So we don't deny the facts, we do accept the truth, and there's a distinction to be made between the two. I know that sounds a little bit murky. Facts and truth usually get kind of thrown in together. There's a truth about you. And before I tell you what it is, a disclaimer. I realize every religion on the face of the earth tells you they have the truth. I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying that you have your truth and I have my truth. And if you gravitate to a certain religion, it means that the truth that they're teaching aligns with the truth that you feel. And at such time as it doesn't align with it, then maybe you find another religion or you give up religion altogether. But religion never gives you up. Spirituality never gives you up. Spirit never gives you up. You can't turn your back on God. You know, it has no sides. You have no sides. It's all one. You're within it, you know. You can shake your fist at it, jump up and down, but still you are contained within the all. But here's the truth that I believe with all my heart. There is one life. That life is spirit or God. That life is all the life there is. That's the truth of you. Everything else is negotiable. Everything else is up in the air. Are you a good person? Are you what Scripture calls the righteous, as opposed to what Scripture calls the wicked? That's a matter of personal choice and style. It's also a matter of interpretation, because you'll get people who'll say, well, what you say is wicked, I think is righteous, or at least on neutral ground, and you know, the whole thing gets debated endlessly. But you know when you're in alignment with your core values and so on. I saw a meme the other day, and it's kind of negative, but it was still food for thought. A child asks their grandparent, what should I do with my life when I'm older? And the grandparent says, be a good person. We need more of them, and there's not a lot of competition. And I kind of sat there, you know. Well, I'm not prepared to say there's not a lot of competition, because I think everybody's trying in their own way, misguided however I may decide that it is. Everybody's trying in their own way to do the best that they possibly can. But they're not all doing the best they possibly can. Trying to, not achieving it. And I say that about myself before I say it about anyone else. What am I doing to live up to my own ideals, to live up to my own values? What am I doing today? Where have I missed the mark? Before I cast blame on somebody else, a responsibility, you know? The thing about the mote in your brother's eye and the beam in your own, you know, it stands true. I mean, we look at ourselves and we say, wow, I just had a really vile judgment about something or somebody. Where did that come from? What is that telling me about my own inner process? What is that telling me about what I need to heal? That's taking responsibility. That's the truth of us, is we're here to be responsibility takers. We take on our own responsibility first, and then we're able to assist the rest of the world. We're able to understand people better. We understand that people have phobias and neuroses, and people have unhealed issues, and people are stuck in their stuff and carrying their luggage, or I get baggage, not luggage, whatever this psychological thing is, you know. and so everybody, and they're carrying it past us, you know. And those are the facts. That's where facts are distinguished from truth. The facts of the moment are pretty grim in our world. Those are the facts. So we acknowledge the facts. We look at the facts. Say, yeah, there's a fire. A lot of fires. They need to be put out. Yeah, there's injustice and brutality. This needs to end. Just taking those two. What's on the other side of them? You put a fire out, and what do you have? You end brutality and injustice and separation and judgment. What do you have? That's where we typically don't go far enough. We just say, I want the problem gone. And there'll be a big vacant lot where the problem used to be. And you know what happens? Stuff starts to grow out of the volunteer crop comes up out of the vacant lot, right? Because nothing positive has been established. Establishment is a wonderful biblical word. I will establish myself. Kingdoms and queendoms are established. They're not just built, They're not just put together brick by brick. An establishment suggests a real foundation, a deep foundation. It suggests spires soaring to the sky and all this sort of thing. So we establish something here in consciousness of the positive opposite. How would it be? How would it be if we, instead of brutality and injustice, we cherished each other? I don't mean we tolerated. I spoke about this before. Not just toleration and not just even like commingling and neighborliness and all of that sort of stuff, but cherished one another. How would that be? Would that be all right with you? To have us cherish one another. I talk with my hands, I realize. Would that be all right? And that's human business. So that involves choices, and that involves dialogue, and that involves a lot of things at the human level. Putting out a fire is less complicated in its own way, because the fire doesn't have an opinion. The fire hasn't established itself with a purpose. In fact, the fire within itself is a pure and holy thing. Not what it's doing, not who's suffering by it, but think about it. It's a function of nature, as is lightning, as is rain, as is, I can't think of the name of this now. Sally. Susie? Sally? What is it? Sally, thank you. The hurricane. The hurricane. I kept wanting to call it Laura. Laura was 3 weeks ago. Laura's gone, yeah. And our prayers continue for the people of Louisiana that Laura went over top of. And our prayers continue for the people of the American West. These are experiencing these fires. But the fires and the storms and all of these things, they're natural phenomena. Are they exacerbated by stupid human choices? I have no doubt that they are. Yet, before humans were making those choices or capable of making those choices, we had storms and we had fires and so on. You see? And so there's no malice there. The fire isn't saying to, one flame isn't saying to the other, watch this. But what would we have on the other side of that? Communities that thrive, that are healthy, that grow, that are able to interact with natural phenomenon in a healthy and life-supportive way without any sort of damage. Buildings that are hurricane-proof, earthquake-proof, fire-proof, I suppose. Sensible forest management. I don't know. In this moment. And if I did, I wasn't going to take up the last 15 minutes of the talk. Oh, no, I can't give you that much more. Last few minutes of the talk with a forestry lesson, but I happen to know one of our practitioners who could. Because he's a retired forestry professor. And all I know is what I read. The point here is, if there's a problem in your life, consider the positive opposite. What would you put where the problem is? And don't stop there. Fall in love with that possibility. Get so excited about that possibility Oh, I may get loud here because this really excites me, this idea, and has for years. Get as excited or more excited about the new possibility than you were ever afraid of the negative eventuality. Oh my God, what are we going to do if this happens? You know how that feels. It's visceral, right? It's kinetic. Can you and I get as excited or more excited about the positive opposite than that feeling of, oh my God? Because when we can, when we do, we tip the scales in the subconscious, and energy in us that was flowing to the maintenance of the problem, the sustenance of the problem, begins to flow in the positive direction. We reverse the course just the way the Mississippi River reversed course when the hurricane came in. And they say, well, that can't happen. Well, apply enough pressure and anything can happen. Or release enough pressure so we turn the energy in a different direction into falling in love with a world that works. And a motto of this teaching and the organization that we're a part of is creating a world that works for everyone. And it's a lovely motto. It's a slogan. It's a this. It fits neatly on letterhead and so on. But to really have that happen, we have to fall in love with the idea of such a world. With the understanding that I don't have the authority to decide how your world ought to work. But there is a place where you and I overlap. And in there we come to agreement about how we would have our world work. Here at Creative Life, we have a spiritual community that I feel works. And we have an agreement. We're good to each other. You know, we're kind to each other. And we're not the only place at all. Next door to us, there's a house of worship. On the other side of it, there's a wedding venue. And on the other side of that, there's another church. And up and down this street, it's like the street of churches, isn't it, out here? Yeah. And this whole little town of Spring Klein, in suburban Houston, all of these different places. And they're all functional communities where they're taking care of each other. And if somebody, you know, their house floods or they need food or whatever, everybody drops everything and runs to them. Why? It has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with basic human nature. See, we deny that there's anything fundamentally wicked about being human. We deny that there's anything fundamentally wrong with Earth, with being here in this world. We weren't sent here by God because we weren't ready for heaven. We chose to come here and have an experience and outpicture ideas and feelings in form. Not only can I think of a song, I can sing it. If I've written it myself. Not only can I think of a song, I can play it. I can make it a thing. I can leave a mark. I can leave a trace in this world. I was reading about a blogger who's been blogging for 10 years or so and responded to a question somebody asked or nobody asked about why do you keep blogging? Is anyone reading what you're writing? And he said, I think so. I don't really know. But he said, I'm doing it because I want to leave a trace. I want to leave a trace. I have something to say. When I'm not here, it'll still be here. You'll be able to find it archived someplace, you know. That's why we incarnated here. It's like we want to make an imprint on creation. So my encouragement to all of us in these troubled times, we don't have to go, oh, cancel that. I can't say they're troubled times. Yeah, they are. They really are. We don't have to hurry into the toxic positivity of everything's going to be fine tomorrow, because maybe it won't. But just the fact that we know that these are troubled times indicates the existence of a mental equivalent somewhere deep down inside of us that says there could be something else. And ultimately, all of this is heading to that. I do not know when things are going to be well. They've not been completely well the whole time I've been on this planet. Okay? There's stuff I haven't been aware of, and there is to this moment. But just within my field of vision, there's been some stuff wrong in the time I've been on this planet. And is all of it going to get healed by the time I'm not? I don't know that. But I know that it will in some time. And that my job and your job right now is to put our hands to the wheel and do what needs to be done here in this time that we have. Starting by love. Love is easy. Hate is hard. Hate is hard. Man, you got to get up every day and remind yourself that you're a hateful person. Love is easy. It's our natural thing. Just like I'm sure they do this other places, but here in Texas, everybody waves to everybody. There's people walking on the street, they wave at the cars, and everybody waves at everybody else. Isn't that nice? Now, does everybody do that, or just when I go by? I don't know. I don't think it's about me. It's just, that's our inclination, our instinct. It's like, hey, how are you? Who are you? What can you tell me? How can I learn more about you, and how can I learn more about myself in the experience of two of us being together? All right, so that's it for today. Next week I'll have more for you, and I'm going to bring I'm going to bring a little George Carlin into it next week. I have to edit heavily. This is a family service, but I don't know if I told you, but he grew up just a few blocks from me, and about 10 years before me. So the skewed worldview is kind of goes hand in hand with each of us. So that's next week. And then 2 weeks from today, on the 27th of the month, the Reverend Lisa Ryan is going to be your speaker. And we're all very much looking forward to that. All right, let's know together now there is one life, one power, one presence. This one is mighty to heal. It can do anything from within itself. It created everything from within itself. And today I call on it for one specific purpose. And that is to cascade with the rain those areas of the American West that are aflame today, Washington, Oregon, Northern California, to turn the winds. Spirit can do this. It made those winds. Those are its winds. Those are its rain, just as those are its flames. And I call today for a healthy and life-giving experience in the skies and on the ground for all the people in the affected areas. I know for those who are working, battling the flames, strength, stamina, and hopefulness as they do their amazing work, and all the caregivers and health professionals and everyone else, leaders of government, authorities, experts, everybody surrounding the situation. I affirm and know for each one that they are guided by infinite wisdom to make just the right choices at just the right times, and that all of nature cooperates now. And that whatever the cause of this was, be it accident or intentional or whatever, that cool healing rain rinses the landscape and provides a foundation in which communities can rebuild. And I surround in my thought and feeling all of those who have lost loved ones, including animal loved ones, in this experience or any other experience, the pandemic or anything, where any being suffers. For there is one life. That life is a totality, contains within itself all possibility. I call forth now the possibility of well-being, and with deepest gratitude for this word and its manifestation, I release it into the ever-capable law of mind, calling it done. Thank you, infinite presence of life, Mother, Father, God, that this is so, and so it is.
All right. So I actually have a thought on why we wave to each other in Texas, or just anywhere. Because one of the things that it says is, I see you. And as a runner, I appreciate that when I'm running in my neighborhood and a great big truck drives by me. When they wave, it's like they are acknowledging that they have seen me, and I appreciate that so much. So that's, that's just one of the ways that we can acknowledge each other. And I mean, in this time right now when we can't be together, within, well, any distance, whatever. But when we wave as we go by, then we are acknowledging, hey, I see you. I see you. I don't know if anybody saw that blockbuster movie 100 years ago called Avatar. Oh, yeah. That's what they would say to each other. I see you. It's one of the most powerful things that we can do for each other is to say, I see you. I hear you. I feel you. So in that vein, I am going to tell you. There is one life, one power, one presence, one love. And that love flows through each and every one of us, in us, as us, through us. So I see you. Whatever it is that you are going through right now, I see you. I feel you. And Spirit knows you. And so I am sending you that love. Not from me, but through me. As are we all. So I invite you to feel that love flowing through you. And I invite you to feel that love flowing to you from each and every being around you. Let that love flow through you. Let that love fill you up. Let that love overflow. Because there is no such thing as too much love. And I am grateful to know this love. I am grateful to feel this love. I am grateful to be this love. And I am grateful for each and every one of these people who put this together so that you can see us, so that we can see you. And I know that it is so, and I release my word knowing it is done. And so it is.
Say with me now, something wonderful is happening through me.
Something wonderful is happening through me.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my mind.
I feel it in my mind.
I feel it in everything I am.
I feel it in everything I am.
I choose it.
I choose it.
I trust it.
I trust it.
I use it.
I use it.
And I love it.
And I love it.
So it is.
And so it is.